Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina show. I have got some great folks coming up. I've got David Fant. He is the owner of Lancaster Thunder, semi-pro basketball team. I'm also going to highlight my first responder of the month, but also throughout the show, folks, you're going to get to see me practicing with some of the guys with the Lancaster Thunder, and it's kind of scary, but it's going to be fun. We're going to have just a blast. So I hope it's something that makes you smile. Folks, I just want you to just, have a great and merry, happy day and enjoy the show and spread the word about the Down Home with Tina show is the number one thing I could ask for you to do. But don't go anywhere. David is coming up next. It's Down Home with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have got David Fant. He is the owner of the semi-pro basketball team in Lancaster, the Lancaster Thunder, and I'm so excited because I'm going to be doing something fun that you're all going to get to watch, and I'm kind of afraid yet because it's going to be, one of those things where I'm not quite sure, but it's going to be all right. We're going to have a good laugh. David, how are you?
I'm doing great. Great to see you again.
Yes, you too. And I mean, before we've had several, and this time we were like, you know what, we're going to do something a little different, and that's
just the two of us today. It's not a Lancaster Thunder season until we come to see you.
That's right. That is right, because you have
Every
been
season.
in it. That's right. Yes, you have. How are things going? How have they been this past year with all that happened?
Great. I mean, we had a couple of things going last year. Of course, COVID cut one of our seasons short. Mm-hmm. Played in the PBA after that. Started in May. Went on to the Final Eight. Won the Midwest Conference champion. So we do a good job. It's we're just excited to get back in the scheme of things and just have a season because we didn't think we were going to be able to play again. So it's just great to get back into it.
It's really nice watching TV and the different other sports with all of those fans. So that's what we're hoping to get in the stands at Ohio University of Lancaster this year.
Absolutely. And we had a little snippet of that last year. I think we had a couple hundred in at a time, and it's just our fans responded because they were so thirsty for something to do. So they came out and they responded to what we were doing, supported us. We're always the best supported team when we go on the road. Mm-hmm. So it's good. It says something about Lancaster.
When does the season start?
Season starts in January. Mm-hmm. I think we play out of town the first two games, so I think we're back in town third week of January.
Okay.
Should be a great season.
Yeah. So new players on the team.
New players,
yeah. Some go because some move on to do other things.
Right, and some old names, new names. Actually, Brett McKnight is going to play with us this year. Brett is famous in the Lancaster community. His brother coaches for us right now. Some other folks from around the community that are coming. And of course, we have the old faithful, Sean Rogers, who I think you know.
Yes,
everybody loves
Sean.
SIP. And we have Jay Williams, who actually has a tryout with one of the Mexico teams. He was great. He was first team all whatever this year, so he was really, really good. Tristan Pierce is back again this year. So we should have a really strong team. Brett Lightnecker, who was actually on the Lancaster team that went to the championship, I guess, years ago, is playing with us this year too. So it's good to have some size.
Let me ask you this, because just kind of in comparison, you said you won the Midwest championship for the PBA. This is PBL. What is going to be the difference of what to expect for the PBL with them and that maybe that where they may go this season?
Well, see, the great things about it is Mike Johnson, who I think you know as well, and I actually were in charge of putting the teams together for the PBL this year. So we really wanted to put some teams together who were successful and were competitive and really would give everybody a hard time, because you don't want to just run over a league. So
No.
we have teams, 3 teams in Chicago, we have teams in Detroit, Elkhart, Indiana, a couple of other Detroit teams have Chicago, New York, Detroit, Du Bois, Pennsylvania, and there's one other that escapes me. But it should be a great league this year, very competitive, and the way we look at it, it makes us better. The better competition makes us better.
Absolutely, yeah. Because this is a dream of these men, and
Right.
to hopefully get them a chance to go even further.
Right.
Not that we ever want to lose them. But
Right, but I think that's the philosophy that we have is next man up. And it's the great thing about having some of these players who we can condition and put into a place where they can be successful, but you have somebody coming up behind them. All at the same time, we had talked about Sean Rogers earlier. His brother Shamarion Rogers will actually be on the team as well. So he's the younger version. So as the older version gets a little bit older. So
it's so funny. So you mentioned this about, you said Brett as well, and I'm the oldest. I'm allowed to, I think, say this respectfully to them. They're the older brothers, so they're just like whip snapping. You guys are going to be playing. No, I know they all have their own minds, and they're going to do what they feel is best for them.
Right.
But I'm sure there is some good influence because they are good influences. The older brothers.
Absolutely, and they've been there.
Yes.
And that's the thing is they can give direction to some of the younger players that we have, and not just in basketball, but in life in general. Because we have some kids. These guys are coming right out of high school.
Yes.
Some of them. So we have these men who are there who give them direction and really put them on the right path. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Absolutely, yeah. And how do you get recruits other than if they've got family or somebody that they know?
Well, really, what happens with us, and we have the luxury of being established, and actually players look out for us. So I think we had 6 or 7 come to our last tryouts. That was pretty much where we kept it at the numbers that we wanted. So it's good having that luxury to be able to pick and choose. And if there's someone that really wants to try out for us, they can always get in touch with us, and we can have a private tryout.
Okay.
But there's always that option. But of course, you have to go through the whole rigorous process. And Phil McKnight runs a tough ship, and he runs a tight ship, and they will come in and work, so they'll be ready to work. So
How many games are there this year that's on the schedule?
good question. There will be 12 games, and then I think 4 tournament games. We're talking about some inter squad actually tournaments with another league as well that's reached out with us. So we'll actually maybe play from our league, play the other league. So we're seeing how that will work out as well.
See,
So
it's
really,
kind of like, it reminds me of high school when you're outside of your league, you go and play just to see what
you want to see how good
like.
you are.
Yeah. Then it's good for them and yourselves.
Sure.
And then it still gives the opportunity for the fans to come out as well. How many of those will get to be home games, do you think? You may
half
not
of
know.
that, I want to say there will probably be 7, 8 home games this year, which is a good number of home games. And that gives our players a chance to bring their families in, and it's really a nice opportunity for the fans.
So I'm going to backtrack just a little tiny bit here. Why did you decide to have a team like this?
Oh, I'm
and
crazy.
have a team? We were kind of talking.
you were going there, weren't you?
No, I didn't mean to. I was just like, because I always find it so interesting as to why somebody does something. And
Right.
this is really cool. And we were talking before here, and so we have folks who kind of go, "That's awesome, that's great. Let's kind of go here and begin here first." Because you need to have a dream. That's what life is.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. I played basketball, of course, when I was younger, and I always loved the game. I coached basketball when I was younger, and for high school. So it got in my blood. And you get to a certain age where you really can't play anymore. So you have to think of other avenues where you can actually sort of go out and really, find that passion again. So Tristan Pierce, who is my stepson, who's actually on the team, played for the Du Bois Dream, which was a semi-pro team up in Pennsylvania. So I started going to his games when he was playing there, and I started saying, our community is a lot like this community.
Oh, wow.
And I say, our community really needs something like this to get us together.
Yeah.
And it sort of all started from there, and we brought the concept here, and the ball started rolling from there.
So I know we've only got a couple of minutes left,
Sure.
but I wanted to find out, what do you think about like the support of our community? Because that's what makes this successful.
I would put Lancaster up against any community in the country, and I really mean that. When you go to our games, the stands are full. We've been to other places where there's hardly any fans in the building, except for our fans. So, which is a good thing for us, but it just says something about the community and just what, when they pick you up and they like what you're doing, they will support you otherwise. So
and you guys make it fun, which people are going to see in the clip. Kind of like what some
we
of them-
try. So you help us out.
That's
from time to
just,
time.
well,
We
yeah,
appreciate that.
we'll see. Yeah, we did have fun a couple. Yeah. How can folks get tickets for the games, and can they be at the door? Do you
Okay, and
recommend
this year we
beforehand?
will be able to get tickets at the door this
Okay.
year, but you'll also be able to get them online on our
Okay.
website. So,
Okay,
Lancaster
perfect.
Thunder, our BB.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. David, thank you so very much for your time.
appreciate
We're going to
it.
have a blast.
I know, it's
folks.
always fun.
We're going to
so-
have more fun here coming up in just a minute, folks. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Down Home with Tina.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area, where the fountain is, and the memorials, and the flags, and all this stuff. And we looked around, and I said, "There's our bank, right there."
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I'm out here on location at Ohio University Lancaster campus. We are in the gymnasium with the Lancaster Thunder team. They just finished up practice, but we're going to do some fun things, and I'm not quite sure what we're going to get, but you're about to see. So what am I going to do? I've got the coach here with me, Phil McKnight, and
All right, we're going to start with just a regular jump shot. All right, we're going to bring Sean out. We have Sean give you the pass first. We'll do it off the pass.
Okay,
We'll do that.
okay.
All right, we'll do it off the pass. We're going to take the shot right there on the whiteboard. Oh!
I'm close.
That's it.
Good pass. Good pass. Shot.
There it is.
That was really bad. Can you do it now?
You got to slide over.
Yeah, give him a there you go. We did this one try later, right? Yeah. So I'll show you exactly what you need to do. From here, we just take 2 steps. Ball's here, right? So you go right foot, left foot, into your foot. Yep. Right foot, left foot. Yep. This guy get inside the square. Get inside the square. Right foot, left foot. There it is.
Got it.
Who wants to do something fun?
Go sit it out here.
Like you'll see in a game.
Yeah. Come on. Yep. Right, come on. We're gonna do, let's go to 3. Let's go to 3 man out. Let's go 3 man out. Let's go to the middle. Greg, let's go in. All right, Brett, grip the wing. Yep, so we'll go here. We'll pass to Tristan. And then there, yep. However you want to pass it, give it to Tristan, we're going to do. Yep, free man. Pass, kick, drive and kick, drive and kick. I want to drive and kick. I need to drive and kick for Tristan 3 first. Yeah. Drive and kick Tristan 3. Let's go. We already did this today. Let's go. Get through there. Now, hey, now this one, want the exact same thing. All right, he said that we can drive on the backside lob. We're going to do the same thing. Good. Greg, you get the lob. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh! Let's try that one more time. Yeah. Come on, man. No, you gotta go. Yep. Come on, one more. Come on, we got 2 minutes, man. Here, just wait. Set. Last one here. Last one. We gotta get Tina done. All right, go for it. Get mad. Yeah, it's that 1, 2. Brett, come on, man. You gotta go for nothing. You gotta go here. You gotta help pick her up, man. You want to stay right in front of her. Come on.
We just lifting her up by the side.
Hey, same way you picked up Tristan. No, I'm not. Same way you picked up Tristan. But you gotta jump. So you got no dribble. You just go stand right in front of her. Jump. Yep. And when you jump, they're gonna help get you all the way up.
You'll buy a way.
Ready? Everybody?
Practice. You would do practice one first.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Jump. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh!
Hey! To Lancaster Thunder, you got to see Tristan and Brett and Sean there when they were practicing. So come out and see one of their games. They're awesome and they're a lot of fun. So thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with my first responder of the month. It's Down Here with Tina.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Down Here with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors, and we have got our first responder of the month, and our first responder of the month is brought to us by Bay Food Market. So I want to go ahead and welcome from the Lancaster Fire Department, who has been doing firefighting for, let's just say, quite a bit of years. I don't want to put any age on anybody, but I'm one of those people too. I'm like, it's been a minute. So, but anyways, Dave Medaugh, you have been with the Lancaster Fire Department for how many years?
Starting next year when I retire, it'll be 27 years.
But it goes a bit of a time before that.
Yeah, before that, 8 years in the Air Force as a firefighter.
That is pretty awesome. And folks know by now that's watched the show on a regular basis. When I've got a veteran on that ties in with my first responder, I'm just like, whew, that is so cool. I mean, Wow. Why did you decide to become a firefighter, and why did you decide to join the Air Force?
Well, after I went to college, got a degree in wildlife management, couldn't really find a job I wanted, so I decided to go into the Air Force and kind of get my feet settled down. Yeah. And then, I don't know, I didn't want to be in an office. I kind of felt that way, so I was leaning police or fire, so then I got to be a fireman in the Air Force and just kind of fell in love with it.
Did you? Yeah. What were some of the things places you got to go in the Air Force?
I did my training in Illinois, and then I was stationed in Florida at Eglin, which is in the Panhandle.
Oh, darn.
Which was nice.
Right.
Yeah, rough assignment. But then I went over to England, RAF Mildenhall, England, and then I finished up in a couple months out, 6 months out in Minot, North Dakota.
What is your favorite place that you have visited with the Air Force?
Well, I got to travel a little bit when I was over in England, so that was kind of neat to see places I know I'll never probably see again.
Right.
So that was really interesting. So then the history, I fell in love with the castles and all that, so that was really neat to see.
Yeah. So what was it like from then, and what did being a firefighter in the Air Force compared to coming out into the civilian world of being a firefighter?
Yeah,
so much different?
Yeah, because when I was in the Air Force, there was a focus on the aircraft, because the aircraft are millions of dollars a piece, and so you're protecting those and the pilots that fly them. So most of my mission was, protecting the aircraft. Now we did have base housing and base buildings that you protected as well, but 90% of my job was aircraft.
Really? Yeah. So what is it that you have to be concerned about, that you're watching out for? Because that is that's a serious thing. Because yes, of course, any kind of fire is serious. But when it's
Well, you have a lot
protocol.
of, you have a high flammable fuels.
Yeah.
So I got to babysit I call it babysitting, but watching over the SR-71 when I was over in England. So that had some really neat challenges, as far as safety.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's, and you have a lot of crew on some of the planes that need to be rescued right quickly if something would happen. So.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So you said 7 years or 8 years?
8 years.
8 years for that. Yeah. And then you came out. And are you from Lancaster?
Yes, I graduated from the high school. Lancaster.
So you did, okay. Yeah. So you came back home.
I
then
did.
That's why I wanted to say it, yeah. And then you just decided to join the local fire department.
Yeah, when I came out, I knew that I wanted to stick with firefighting, and so I had a couple local jobs, jobs around the area that were like part-time jobs, and then I finally got hired at Lancaster.
Yeah. So what's it been like throughout all these years?
Interesting. It's probably pretty much what I wanted it to be, as far as, changes. You never know what you're going to get into every day. Mm-hmm. So it's kept my interest.
Yeah. What are some of the things we want to share with folks a little bit about this time of year when it comes to fire safety?
Yeah, okay. So I have a couple notes. And so when we break down residentials, we call them 1 and 2 families, which is your single family, and then your duplexes, and then multifamilies, which is like the newer condos that are going around because they're joined together, and also your apartment buildings and all that. So most of your fires are in the single family or duplex settings.
Oh, okay.
So those are we try to concentrate on that as well, as well as the apartments. Well, within the last week, yesterday, I think it was, there was a structure fire on the house, in Fox Meadows Apartments, we had a fire there. So this time of year, it's just people with heating and all that. But so that's where the majority of the fires are. And also the majority of fires are cooking related. Oh. So that's still number one. So, and I think this time of year, people need to be real careful not to get distracted. There's a lot of things going on, so stay focused on when you've got food on the stove. Make sure you're hanging around and watching.
Absolutely. I know that I was told, this is the craziest thing that happened to me, I don't know, a few years ago. I was baking, and I'm not even one, Dave, that will put any kind of paper towel, wash rag, or dish rag, or anything, drying towel on my stovetop, ever. when it's hot, or definitely not when it's hot, but even when it's not hot, I've always had the habit of not doing that. I have no idea what I did, but I was making cookies, and I had my mitt, and my mitt was one of those silicone ones that things could attach to it easy. I don't know if I put my pan in the oven and just came out and a towel was attached to it. I had a towel in my oven. It was on fire, and I don't even know what it was that made me go to the kitchen and check my oven like a couple of minutes later. So just be careful when you're baking, and this is a big time of year because it is colder out, and folks do like to do the pies and things like that. Well, for myself anyways. But I did that, and it was a very, very scary thing. Something else is the stovetop grease fires. What is the number one thing folks should be careful? Because that's happened to me before too. And when you get all caught up in that adrenaline and that rush of like, oh my goodness, I've got a fire, you sometimes don't think of the right thing to do.
Right. So on fire, you want to cover it. You turn off your gas or your electric to it and cover it. Never throw water on it.
Right.
So
grease fire, right?
Right, grease fires.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those are the main things. Some people it's a good idea to have like a small extinguisher for kitchens nearby. Baking soda, things like that will smother the fire. But don't put your hands on. Don't try to throw a towel that could catch on fire on.
Okay, so baking soda is something that could be for
if you have nothing else, if all else fails, and you got it around.
Yeah, but just covering it with something is good. Alrighty, good. I'll let you share some other things.
Yeah.
I just thought of that, and that was a complete accident. I had no idea how it got there, but
right. So some other things to look for is to make sure your smoke detectors and CO detectors are working. Back in October we had the fire prevention deal. Change your batteries. So hopefully you did that then, and if not, now's a really good time to do that. You're buying batteries for kids' toys or whatever, so you're going to have them. So go ahead and replace them. Do not overload your electrical outlets. Now's the time to plug in your Christmas lights or your Christmas decorations. Make sure you have good working power strips that have surge protectors on them. And don't ever plug another surge protector into a existing surge protector. So don't double it up, because that obviously would overload that. We were talking about the kitchen. Don't ever use your oven for heating. So you want to make sure that you're not leaving that cracked open. So use a space heater, 3 feet around a space area around the space heaters, and if you're using kerosene, never fill your fuel while you're inside the house.
Perfect.
Another thought too would be if you're going to warm up your car, never do it if you have an attached garage, because then you can get CO into the house.
Right. Yeah. So. Just be very careful. Well, I know we're about out of time already. Oh my goodness. So, but you have been many, many years, and you're lieutenant now. I didn't say that earlier. Lancaster Fire Department. As my first responder of the month, I've got some goodies for you. I've got from Ava Jewelers a little gift certificate in there. Ale House 1890. One of my favorite places, and some other goodies and treats in here, and you can keep for yourself, or of course you can share, do whatever that you would like to do, Dave. I just thank you for doing everything that you do for our community, and congratulations on your retirement coming up. So, and for serving in the military. So, folks, I hope you have a great week. I'll be back next week. God bless. Good day.